This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. In the last session of Python, we were discuss about working with dictionary, all data structures we were discuss. And in this session, I'm going to discuss three more data structures. That is bytes, byte array, frozen set. Then after, immediately we'll start with functions in Python concept. So these are the three data, apart from string, list, set, tuple, dictionary, okay, all these things. And we have three more data structures are there. For bytes, byte array, frozen set. Okay, bytes, byte array, and then frozen set. So bytes is used to represent byte numbers, just like an array. Byte numbers, just like an array. First of all, I want to give clarity here. So where do we use this bytes, byte array means? These bytes, byte array can be used to work with like images, okay, audio files, video files. In that case, we can use bytes, byte array. Okay, bytes, byte array. So why? Because that image file can be converted into bytes format. Same uh, bytes representation. If you want to copy the image from one image to another image, then we can able to use this bytes. Means we have to find the bytes of image, how many bytes is occupying, and same memory size need to be maintained. And even though in the file stream also, like audio file, video file, also we can use this bytes byte array. In normal usage, we cannot go for bytes byte array. So bytes is used to represent byte number, just like an array. Array means it's a similar data type collection. Yes, there is array concept also there. I'll discuss about arrays in coming sessions. And that the only allowed values for bytes is 0 to 256. The only allowed values for bytes is 0 to 256, means limited range of collection it is. We cannot create byte numbers like more than 256 value. And bytes is immutable, means we cannot able to change. Once we generate byte numbers, we cannot change that numbers. Byte array also same as bytes only, both are same almost, but only the difference is byte array is mutable. We can change at any time the values of byte array, and remaining things are same. Byte array is used to represent byte number, just like an array. The only allowed values for byte array also is 0 to 256 only. So only range, limited range here. So what is the difference between list and bytes array? List value, there is no limitation. We can create more than 256 number also, we can create list. But in bytes, only 0 to 256 range only it is required. Here 0 to 256 range only it is required. Okay. So let's see this, how to create bytes and byte array and frozen set also. Frozen set is different, later I'll show you. But why these are the special data types? Because these data structures we cannot create directly. For example, we create list directly, and we create string directly, we create tuple directly. Okay, but we cannot create directly this bytes, byte array, frozen set. These all three data structures we can create from other data structures only. From any data structure like list, from set, from tuple, then we can create these all data structures. Directly we cannot create. Let's see this practical implementation. First bytes we will see now. Bytes. Let's open your your project. So here let me go with bytes, byte array, frozen set. So as I said that bytes can be created only From other data structure directly we cannot create bytes. So I'm taking X. X is the list I'm taking. X equals to list values I'm taking 10, 20, 30, 40. These are what list only. How do you know that whether it is list or not? Simply you can observe that is in square bracket only. Now print X. Print X I'm taking. Print X. Then print type of X. What type it is? List type. Just to know that what is that type of X actually. This is list type only. List type. And the list type. This list type 2, I want to convert into bytes. How I can do that? Simple. B equals to bytes of X only. B equals to bytes of X. So I'm converting this X into bytes and stored into B only. Here I'm trying to print B only. And print type of B also, you can know that. Type of B. What type it is? Let's run this. Type of B. Now you can see 10, 20, 30, 40. This is list type. This is list type. And see, B is nothing but binary format. This is byte number generation. These numbers are converted into byte numbers. In this byte collection, these numbers are there. If you want to access these byte numbers, then one by one we can access. How we can access? So print B of 0 means 10 value. Print B of 1 value. Print B of 2. Print B of 3. From this, I'm going to retrieve 0, 1, 2, 3 like this indexes. Index through we can access. This is byte numbers only. So as I said that what I can see, bytes is used to represent byte numbers just like an array only, same, similar. Okay. Now, sir, can we iterate these values? Yes, we can iterate. For I in B. B is a bytes collection. Print I am taking. For I in B, print I. Now you can see once I run this, just observe. Once I run this, oh, I'm just executing this one. Same byte numbers are generated, yes. And as I said that the only allowed values for bytes is 0 to 256 range only. In case in my list, if I give here 256, that's not possible, sir. Here 256 means including 256, not excluding 256. Means including 255, that is up to 256. Means including 255. Once I run, this will give error. Value error, byte must be in range of 0 to 256 only, it is saying. Value error, byte must be in range of 0 to 256 only. Got my point? Yes. So if I give 255, then it is valid because minimum capacity it is. Only limited range of sequence of values we can generate. That too byte number representation only here. And here, if you want to change the value, for example, 20 value I want to change. Is that possible? No, sir. B of 1 index 99 I am changing. 0 index, 1 index. 1 index 99 value I am changing. But as I said that bytes is immutable. We cannot change. So we cannot change. So clearly it says that bytes object does not support item assignment. Means we cannot assign the item that is 99 to the byte numbers at index 1. Suppose here you can see byte array I'm taking. Instead of byte array I'm taking. Byte array. See, byte array is also used to represent byte numbers just like an array. The only allowed values for bytes is 0 to 256. Byte array is mutable. We can able to change byte array. Byte array is what actually mutable. We can change. Okay, now let's coming to this. Here 10, 99, 30, 255. Is this change? Yes, it is change. So value can be changed. Byte array is going to represent binary format like byte numbers. And also we can able to include, this also is applicable like 258 I am giving. It is not possible here also. Byte array also will not allow more than 256 range. Only the allowed values are 0 to 256 limited size only here. So this is byte array representation. But just we are going to use this into working with binary files only, like images, audios, and video files like that. Other than this, we will not use normal usage here, bytes, byte. Frozen set normally we can use. So you know about set. Set is what? Mutable, but whereas frozen set is immutable. That is only difference. So frozen set is immutable, we cannot change. How we can create set, frozen set? From set only. We can here, I'm creating one set here. Set, you know how to create. Set can be created by using curly brackets. Print yes. Print type of S. What type it is? Set type only. Obviously, you can see this. What types are it is? Set type. 10, 20, 30, 40 class set type only it is there. Got my point? This is frozen set. But I want to convert this into frozen set only. Why? Because if I use add method is used to add one item to the set. Yes or no? We can delete also. Discard method we can apply. So mutable it is. Set is mutable. We can add 45 also here. But if you don't want to add any values or delete any values, total set collection you want to make immutable. Immutable means what? No changes. Then we can use frozen set. I am converting that frozen set from set only. So here frozen set function is there. Frozen set of yes. Here S is a set. This set will be converted into frozen set. After converting into frozen set, it will store into fs variable, print fs, and print type of fs. Once I use this type of fs, now you can see frozen set is there. But this is what actually mutable nature. Mutable means we can add item to the frozen set. Sorry, it is immutable. Set is mutable. And once we convert that set into frozen set, it is immutable. Immutable means we cannot add any items to the frozen set. Undoubtedly, it is not possible. For example, 34 we are trying to add. So when we try to add, again print fs, so it will give error because frozen set doesn't support item assignment. Does not attribute, does not object has no attribute add. So same set values I want to create, sir. Set can be created. Set elements I want to create, but only I want to apply what? Immutable nature for my set. How we can do? Frozen set too, we can do that. Frozen set is immutable, whereas set is mutable. So set can be allowed to modify the values like adding, extend, discarding, removing all these things. But frozen set we cannot do changes. This is the only difference between set and frozen set clearly. Okay. So these are all data structures in Python like string, list, tuple, set, dictionary, range, all these things. Range already we discussed in the basic. That is enough. That is only range. We cannot go for other style of range functionalities. So these are the complete data structure. So Python is a structured oriented programming language. So we use data structures clearly. Next, Python is a functional oriented programming language. Functional oriented means we have to work with functions only. Now, today I'm going to start with functions topic. It is very, very important from now onwards. In interviews also, in real-time implementation also, functions will play a very important role. Okay. So once I finish function oriented programming language with all detailed, okay, then we will go for object-oriented programming language rules also. So Python is multiple programming language pattern like functional oriented, structured oriented, and object oriented. We just finished object structured oriented only, and still we have to discuss about functional oriented as well as object oriented. Today I'm going to start with functional oriented programming using Python. First of all, I want to tell you what is function and how to create function, what is the syntax and types of functions. All these things I want to discuss. See, function is nothing but functions in Python. Function is nothing but it is a group of statements or single statements we can include. Inside the function, we can write group of statements or single statements, which is used to execute repeatedly whenever it is required, wherever it is required. The main advantage of functions is reusability. Reusability means what? One time we can create a function with logic, multiple times we can able to use them. That is reusability concept. Reusability is the main advantage of the function. And another advantage is to avoid repetition of the code. Repetition means no need to write repeatedly same kind of logic, same kind of code in our application. Okay, that is the case. Repetition of the code is there. Repetition. So repetition of the code in the sense repeatedly we can able to write the code, but that's not required while working with functions. The main advantage is reusability. One time we can write function and you can call that function any number of times. And repetition means avoid repetition means no need to write repeatedly code. If you go through functions, then we will save programmer time is lot of programmer time is going to save, and application implementation will become faster rate. So these are the main advantages of functions. Function is a statement or group of statement which can be used to call repeatedly again and again when it is required. Suppose consider this one. There is some 100 lines of code is there, or 20, 10 lines only you can consider better. 10 lines of logic code is there here. I have written some 10 lines of logic code. Once I start executing this 10 lines of logic code, we got some output. Fine. Using this 10 lines of script, we got output. But later, same output I want repeatedly. Same output I want. Same 10 lines of code I want, sir. How I can do that? So you need to write same 10 lines of code repeatedly in your application. Yes, repeatedly you need to write. Keep on writing the 10 lines of code, 10 lines of code like that. Okay. But to avoid repetition of the code, what we can do, we can keep this 10 lines of code inside the function only. For example, F1 is my function name. Inside the function, when I include this 10 lines of code, whenever you want to execute this 10 lines of code, or whenever you want to get the same output from this 10 lines of code, what we got, next time you need not to write 10 lines of code directly. You can call the function only. What is the name of the function here? F1. I'm just calling the function here. How many number of times you want, you can call that many times. Wherever you want, you can call there only, no problem. This is functions will provide flexibility to reuse the code. Once you write repeatedly, you can able to reuse that code in your application. So every time wherever it is required, you need not to write repeatedly, no. So that's what functions will provide flexibility in writing Python script. And for example, so if you observe that your code is grows larger and larger, so many lines are keep on going. So in that case, better to split or divide your code into small parts where each part can be considered as a function. And the advantage is whatever you split the code small parts into small parts. Okay. So clearly, in which part of the program there is a problem. Okay. In which part of the program there is a problem, there only we can able to check, there only we can able to adjust the code. remaining parts of the program will not get disturbed. Imagine that if you are not following the function logic, total stuff, total code is present in one location only. Editing is typical, okay? And in the editing process of your code, other lines of code, other code may be impact. And also, code is not in readable format. If you write total logic in one location continuously without dividing or without splitting, then that code will be completely not readable format, well readable format. So that you can better to divide a small parts where each part can be considered as a function, and functions will provide readability of the program also, and simplicity of the program. Easily we can able to read it, and easily we can able to modify it. All these advantages are there with functions. So functions can be of two types. One is predefined functions. Predefined functions. These functions automatically will come when we install Python software. These are built-in functions also, we can call it as predefined or built-in functions. So example of built-in functions or predefined functions are already we discussed. Print is a built-in function. For what purpose? Printing an output. Input is a built-in function. For what purpose? To accept input values from the user. ID is a built-in function to get memory address of the variable. Type is a built-in function to get data type of the value, data type of the object. Which type is that type? Suppose here I use type. Type is type of fs. What type? Frozen set type. Print is there. Print function is what type? Output function. Output values you can print. These are all built-in functions, standard functions. When we install Python software, automatically these functions will come into the picture only. And now I'm talking about only user-defined function, not built-in functions. Means as a programmer, how to create our own functions clearly. User-defined functions, I'm saying. So user-defined functions means what? User can define its own functions. That is called user-defined function. Programmer can create these functions and can be used reusable. Once he create a functions with that name, you can able to reuse by calling that function. And now coming to this, I want to show you a proper syntax of function. You have to follow this syntax only always. Syntax to create a function in Python. And to create function in Python, there is a keyword, def keyword. Okay. So you can also check in the keyword list. You will be able to find the def keyword here. How to check keyword list in Python? Import keyword and simply print keyword dot kw list is there. So this two lines of code is enough to get the keyword list. And many times also I discuss. Now you can see def is a keyword is there. No, now I am going to use this keyword only to define the function only. In everywhere in Python script, wherever you find this def, that indicates that function definition, you can say that is the function. Easily we can recognize by looking def keyword. So this keyword I'm going to use for defining the functions. So syntax to create a function, this is def function name of parameters colon, and now you can see here doc string means documentation string, and what actually here some valid statements makes the function body, and return statement here, return statement. This is exactly syntax, sir. So first line you can consider this is the function header part, function header, and the def is a keyword to define the function, to create a function. Def is the starting of the function header, and colon is the ending of the function header. This colon is mandatory according to Python syntax while creating functions. If you miss this colon, we will get syntax error. And the name of the function name is valid name. Means while giving name of the functions, you should keep in your mind that rules and regulations of identifiers. In the basic sessions of Python, I discuss identifier means what? Identifier means any name of Python is called identifier. It can be a variable name, or it can be function name, or it can be class name, any name. While giving names, certain rules and regulations you should follow. I said, what rules? Name cannot be two parts. If you want to maintain two parts of the any name, you can use underscore. And name should not be starts with digit. Names are case sensitive. What the way you declare, same way how to access it. You cannot use any name as a keyword. Keyword through we cannot give the name. So these are the rules and regulations. So function name, while giving function name, you have to take care the name properly. You can give any name, no problem at all, but that should be unique and valid only. And this brackets compulsory required, but inside the brackets, whatever we place parameters, these are not compulsory, optional. If you want, you can give, otherwise leave it. If really your function is required parameters, then you can create a function with parameters. Otherwise, you need not to create parameters. Parameters means input values to the functions are. What are the input values to the function? That means once we create a function with parameters, while calling that function, function will expect some parameter values like input values from the user. So whenever your function is having parameters, as a programmer, of while calling the function, you should supply that input values to the parameter. If we supply the input values, then only the functions will work. Otherwise not. If function is having parameters, compulsory have to supply the parameter values. Okay. If function is having parameters, you supply parameter values. If you don't have parameters, then what we can do? So no need to supply any parameter values. So parameters are input values. I'll show you all the examples clearly with basic things only so that you'll understand. So this is document string. This is just a description about your function. Suppose while writing function inside any code, if for other person's understanding point of view, for example, you are going to show, you are going to transfer your code into other programmers or other persons. After seeing your code, they should understand why you create a function, what purpose, what you're doing, everything. If you want to show in description format, you can write it in the function body. Description, write. Document string, that is. Doc string or description or comments also we can call it as. This is optional, not compulsory. And statements is compulsory. Statements also not compulsory. If you don't want to implement any logic inside the function, you can use pass keyword. Pass means there is no data, there is no implementation in the function only. But statements are main thing, main task will do by statements only. As I said that what is the use of function? Function is used to perform a function is a statement or group of statements. Whenever we execute that statements, we will get some output, valid code. So that is statements only. Statements means any logic you can write. And return statement is there. Return is a keyword. You can see return is a keyword. RETURN return keyword is there, no? Yes. So what is the return keyword here? Whenever you call the function, do you want to get any value from the function? Then we can return. We can use return keyword. Otherwise, not required. Without return, with return also we can create a function. I'll show you clearly examples. So here, parameters are optional, not compulsory. Doc strings are optional, not compulsory. This is comment or description about your function. Return statement is optional, not compulsory. Okay, this is. Let's flip to programmatic way. I want to create one function, and most important, I will tell you the most important point, how it is important to you for creating a function, and it's important to call the function also. Functions will work and functions will give the result when we call only. If you don't call the functions, functions will not work, sir. Undoubtedly, functions will not work. Got my point? Functions will not work properly when we don't call. It properly not, it won't work. If you call, then it will work. Otherwise, not. So let's create one simple function. df, my function name is f1. And printing here in my function name is hello. So this is what actually creating a function. Inside the function body, I have written hello only. So once I run this, nothing will happen because you create a function, but you didn't call the function. How to call the function? This is I want to call the function. Now I can say I'm calling the function. Hello is coming. Yes, hello is coming. So def f1 of print hello f1 function is there. Got my point? If you want to call one more time, we can call one more time. Again, one more time is coming like, sir, I want to display hello 100 times. 100 times should I call? No, that is not correct. So 100 times means what actually? 100 times what actually here? So 100 times means you can write your logic. No need to print all this like for I in range of 100. So inside the function body, you can write any logic. Your indentation is must 1, 2, 3, 4 inside the for loop. So one time I'm calling the function f1. This body of the function will execute all 100 times hello is printing. If you want to display this hello into horizontal like same line only, you can use end attribute. Like hello is printing. Same function if you want to recall means one more times if you call, then one more 100 times it will be print hello hello. So inside the functions are any logic you can write, no doubt at all. Got my point? Inside the function f1, any logic you can write, no issues at all. This is functions logic clearly here. Got my point? Yes. And now you can see I'm going to create a function with parameter. Function with parameter. How to create function with parameter? So in case suppose if you don't want to implement anything in the function body, don't leave as an empty. You can leave as a pass through only. So pass keyword you can use. It indicates that yes, I create a function, but right now at this moment, I don't have any implementation of the function. If you want to indicate to your interpreter, I don't have implementation inside the function means we can use what actually pass keyword. Def f1 is a function of pass. F1 f1. This is function calling one time calling and second time calling like this function. Got my point? So this is the case. So pass is a keyword. So we can skip the function, but I don't want to skip the function. I want to create a function with parameter. For example, name I'm taking name, and I can say that print hello, then name I want to print. Now this time when we call this function like this, it will give errors up because function is expecting one name from the calling place. This is the calling place, and as soon as when we call that name is expecting from here the value, but you don't supply the value. As I said, that parameters are input values to the function. If you create a function with parameters, while calling the function, you should supply parameter value. But here you can see F1 missing one required positional argument name only. F1 function missing one required positional argument, that is what actually name only. So here we have to supply the name. What name we are giving, that name will come to the function only. F1 of Sai, Sai name will go to here, print hello Sai. F1 of Mohan, Mohan name will go to here, print hello Mohan, like this. Anytime with any names you can call it, no problem at all. This is function with single parameter. And at the same time, function with any parameter also. For example, I'm taking n is my parameter. I want to find the square of n. Okay, square is, I'm taking n into n. My expression is n into n. N into n is the square only, no? Yes. So I'm using f1 of 10 I'm taking. F1 of 5. 5 square I want to do that. F1 of 8 I'm taking. 8 square I want to do this. Now you can see square is n into n, 5 into 5, 25. Square is n into n, 8 into 8, actually 64 only. But sir, square is there, but square of which number it is 25 I want to display. So simply square of n. N is what actually square of comma n comma is. Square of n is. So this n is input values. It is not an output statement. This within the double quotes, whatever I included, these are the output statements. Means in the output window, it will display. This is input value. So that input value, what we supply 5, so 5 will goes to here. What we supply 8, 8 goes to here. After that, 8 into 8, 64. So easily we can display in the statement wise, like square of 5 is 25, square of 8 is 64 only clearly. So function with single parameter. Okay. and function with two parameters I want. For example, I want to add two numbers. So now you can see adding two numbers here. So two numbers purpose, I'm taking a comma b. Okay, sum of. So sum is or result is, I can say that. So sum is sum, sum is. How we can able to do two numbers? Simple. A plus b, I can say that. But here this is function name, no? Yes, name of the function is add. Immediately you can see this function is expecting a and b values, input values. We have to supply the a and b value input values like 10, 20 I'm taking. Sir, here any type of values can we supply? Yes, obviously. There is no rule because automatically when we supply this 23.4, 56.7, internally based on the supplied values, data type will decide. Now you can see sum is 30, 80.1 is there, 23.4, 56.7. Got my point? Yes. But sir, these values we can also accept runtime. To accept values at runtime, then we can able to convert to that integer type or something. Suppose here a equals to, I'm taking int of input of enter num1, I'm taking first number. At the same time, I'm taking b equals to int of input of enter num2, I'm taking num2. So two numbers I'm adding here. So we can able to call a comma b only because the numbers are giving at runtime only, no? These numbers a b. So now you can see a b I'm function calling. As soon as when we call this function a and b, a value is expecting from user only. A value I'm giving 67 and b value I'm giving 23 only. So here 67 and 23, 90 values coming like. Sir, you can also use this values at calling place only. Now you can see a equals to, here we can give, and here you can see b equals to, here also you can give. This is also possible, sir. Here only we can give. No need to take separately. Got my point? So I create a function with name add, which is having two parameters a and b. And now you can see add function is there, and a is my input values. Here only I'm calling while converting. Here only I'm calling like this. Once I run, so this also working fine, sir. 98 and 78. 98, 78 is what actually 176. Add a value, b value like this only. Okay. So inside the function, you can write any logic. I'm saying that any logic you can take inside the function. Suppose here adding two numbers. This is a simple program, and I want to pass one number at runtime. Suppose let me create one function df. That number is even number or odd number. I want to check simple. So my function name is even, and x value I'm taking. I'm writing logic. If x modulus 2 equal to 0, then I can say that print x is what actually is even. Else part I'm taking. Print x is what is odd. I can say that. So we have to supply the function value. So is even function I'm calling. Okay. And value I'm taking 3 only. Is even function I'm calling. Value I'm taking 4 only. Now in the first time calling while passing 3 value, then function will take this x value 3, 3 modulus to equal 0, not correct because the remainder is 1. So this will go to else part, is odd only. Next 4 value, 4 modulus to equal 0, remainder is 0, then that is what x is even only, even value. Now coming to this, 3 is odd, 4 is even. So I'm saying that inside the function body, any type of logic you can write, I'm saying, as per your requirement. And write this code and use this just by calling its name of the function only. This is calling place. This is creation of the function only. Okay. And up to now, what I discussed, how to create a function with single parameter, with multiple parameter, without parameter. But what about return statements are return, RETURN? Just closely observe that, okay, so that you'll understand. So I'm creating two function, add function here, a comma b. Okay, print sum is a plus b. Just try to understand, sir, so that you will get clarity why return keyword, what is return, what is the use of keyword. Now you can see add of 1020. Now this time you can see I'm calling the functions are here. This is calling place or not? Yes. Whenever you call this function, it will go to here, and we are passing the values to the function, that is parameter values. A value 10, sir, clearly. B value how much, sir? 20, sir. B value 20. 10 and 20. Here, what it is doing? A plus B. That means what? 10 plus 20. How much it is 10 plus 20? 30. But this 30 value, what function is doing? Function is printing. Got my point? Function only printing, no? Yes. So that's what we are getting output clearly. You can see function is printing. So once I run this, function is printing here 10 plus 20, 30. Got my point? Yes. Just comment this one. This line I'm commenting. Now I'm going to use next return. RETURN, return A plus B. Okay. Now this time we can observe. I'm calling the function here. This is the calling place. Function will call here. A value holding 10. B value holding 20. Here what it is doing? A plus B. That is the result is what? 30. But this 30 value is doing what function? Return. RETURN, return, not printing, return. Return to where this 30 value? To the calling place. This is the calling place. But in this calling place, did I print the result value? Any print function over there in the calling place? No, that's what the result is not coming. We are not printing. Function is doing its task. What task? Adding two number task. 10 plus 20, 30 is there. 30 value is returning to the calling place. Return means it return back to the calling place. Whoever calling, that place function is returning. But in this return calling place, we are not printing the values. We are not taking this 30 values. So that is the problem. So if you want to print, then here we have to print, sir. Sum is comma add of 1020. This is calling. This is calling like this. Okay. Now you can see function is returning. It is returned back to the calling place. In calling place, we are printing that. But sir, what is the difference between this and this? Simple. If we use here this one, you are not going to store result value anywhere. You cannot use result value in further programming or further purpose. If I return value, we can store result value somewhere. You can able to reuse the result value further code also. For example, I'm taking R. R is my result value. I'm calling the function. Now here R value I'm using. So function is returning A plus B 30 value. 30 value I'm calling here. After calling result value, I'm going to store into where? Separate variable R. Sum is R. So now you can see R value is 30 only. This R value I can able to reuse into my further programming. Yes, I can reuse that. For example, def subtract function I'm taking. R is one variable and C is one variable. And I'm going to print here subtraction of this only. Sub is what actually? R minus C, I can say that, R minus C. And I'm calling subtract function here, subtract function. R value anyway, it is coming from other function. C value, I'm taking what actually 6 only. Now observe here this term, 6, R is what value? 30 value. 30 minus 6, how much it is? 24 only. Am I using this result value into further programming or further usage or not? Yes, because the function add function, what it is returning, I'm going to store into result value here. That result value I can able to reuse into in my upcoming program or anywhere. There is a flexibility is there. If you don't return any value or printing value here only, you cannot able to store the result value, you cannot able to reuse that result value anywhere. Okay. Yes. Suppose here function value is not returning, sir. You can see returning, it is not. A function only printing the value. Now this R value is what? None. Function is nothing is returning. This print value will print only sum A plus B. Now you can see sum is A plus B 30. Because of this 30 what? Because of this line only. Function is not return any value. That's what R value is holding what? None. Nothing is returning function. Got my point? So this is with return, without return clearly here. If you want to get the value from the function after doing some task, that value if you want to store somewhere or reuse into some other program, then we can go for return statement. Okay, or else directly can able to print, ask the function to print values only, result value only. Anyways, you can do it, no problem. So these are all complete overview of functions. Function with return type, without return type, function with parameter, multiple parameters, function without parameters also. So all these basic things only we just finished. But there are a lot of things we have to discuss. Types of variables like local variables, global variables, types of arguments like positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, nested functions, function aliasing, recursive functions, anonymous functions like lambda expressions. Lot of things are there. We'll discuss slowly one by one from this function area only. So just today overview of functions I just mentioned. So you can keep it in your mind. This is important case. So many times in object-oriented programming also, many times we use this kind of scenarios. Okay. So that's all for today. So in tomorrow's session, we'll continue from here onwards.